Topping today's news, the Bahamas removed from the European Union's blacklist for tax havens. The National Security Minister reacts to the murder of the 15-year-old boy. 3 more lives lost to traffic fatalities, including a hit and run. And the latest on the Royal Bahamas Defense Force troops to Haiti. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Dorino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. According to French international news agency AFP, on Tuesday, the European Union removed the Bahamas and several other jurisdictions from its dreaded tax haven blacklist, with Oxfam, a global organization that fights inequality to end poverty and injustice, stating that the list is a waste of time. The Bahamas government in recent weeks noted that they expected to be removed from the list after satisfying several requirements laid out by the European Union, including the technology to allow exchange of tax information. Last week, the Minister of Economic Affairs, Michael Halkitis, predicted the outcome, noting that the Bahamas had received a passing mark over key issues that prevented a removal from the blacklist in 2023. Along with the Bahamas, Belize, Seychelles, and the Turks and Caicos Islands were also removed, leaving 12 countries on that blacklist, including from the region, Antigua and Barbuda, Trinidad and Tobago, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Minister of National Security Wayne Munro is speaking out on the shooting fatality that claimed the life of a 15-year-old boy on 1st Street, Coconut Grove, around 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Just a few hours later, while attending a function at the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Coral Harbor Base, Minister Munro spoke about the police investigation and addressed public concerns over the ways violent crimes have impacted young people throughout the country.
I have a brief from the police who are investigating any connections the young man may have had. You will recall that we have extended the intervention program into the primary school with HYPE, because we found that young people were going deviant a lot earlier. So I've received a briefing from the Commissioner about the details related to that, but I would leave it to the police to brief the press as they develop their information and intelligence.
Minister Munro assures Bahamians that the government is ramping up its crime prevention initiatives. However, he says families must help police to prevent the onslaught of violent crimes committed against and by juveniles.
It's what we have said from the beginning, and it's what the Prime Minister has repeated. Being proactive, and if your children aren't involved in what is right, turning in firearms they may have, cooperating with the police may end up saving your child's life and preserving his freedom in the community. And so too many of these incidents involving our young men, even as young as 15, remembering of course that we have a 16-year-old charged, I believe, with 4 murders, are a result that mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters have to understand that they're not doing their loved ones any favor by cloaking them.
Minister Munro echoed Police Commissioner Clayton Fernanda, calling for all Bahamians to have a vested interest in the well-being of young people in your communities. Despite the setbacks and delays for sending a Kenyan-led multinational peacekeeping force into Haiti to help stabilize the social unrest and gang violence there, in recent weeks there have been reports that the mission is still on the table. On Monday, Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King says an agreement is being made to send Kenya's initial team to Haiti.
Kenya and the Republic of Haiti, I think they're in the process of signing off on an agreement which will enable the Kenyans to deploy their police officers. And so, but Kenya is preparing to send its initial team of some 200 persons into Haiti as a part of the advance team. And so we continue to prepare, we continue to plan until the government decides definitively which most likely will be the maritime security component, which there's a mesh and there's an overlapping national interest between Haiti and the Bahamas.
Commodore Dr. King revealed that members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force will travel to Jamaica in the coming weeks for integrated training in preparation for the mission to Haiti.
Earlier this month, we had the support of the Canadians who came in and began the peacekeeping training for our members, and we are about to move to Jamaica for an integrated training aspect for some 3 weeks for all of the Caribbean countries who would have committed to deploying persons to Haiti. And so that training will run for a 3-week period, and then we will bring in our partners from South America.
Commodore Dr. King also noted that troops from Chile and Argentina will also assist with the training. Also out of Haiti, the widow of Haiti's late president, Jovenel Moïse, who was assassinated in his home in 2021, was among more than 50 people indicted by a Haitian judge in connection to his murder. Martine Moïse, the wife, who was shot and wounded in the July home invasion, was named in a 122-page report and is accused of complicity and criminal association. Investigations reveal that Mrs. Moïse laid out plans to succeed her husband just 2 days after his assassination. The former First Lady also had numerous inconsistencies in her account of what happened the night her husband, 53 years old, was killed. However, the indictment fails to provide any direct evidence of Mrs. Moïse's involvement in her husband's murder or its planning. Claude Joseph, the ex-prime minister, was also indicted, along with former chief of Haitian National Police, Leon Charles, who faces the most severe charges, including murder and attempted murder. In the meantime, many of the accused have claimed that Haiti's current Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, is using the court as a political weapon to prosecute his opponents. And finally, in this segment, on Monday, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force hosted its awards, medals, and commissioning ceremony at the Coral Harbor base, with about 700 Marines recognized for years of dedicated service to the country. Minister of National Security Wayne Munro, applauded and encouraged the officers for being on the front lines in protecting the country.
As Minister with responsibility for national security, I'm keenly aware of the daily sacrifices you make in the line of duty. I thank you for your dedication and commitment to the advancement of this nation. The presence of your family members, friends, and loved ones on this joyous occasion is truly heartening, and I thank them for their continued support of you over the years of your service. It's often said that our law enforcement personnel are ordinary people doing extraordinary things daily.
Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King says the organization has to continue recruitment because many of the officers recognized are almost at retirement.
Is that the number of persons who received awards, medals, and decorations this morning are sort of seasoned persons. I did a research a few years back, and more than 45% of our members could very well retire today or tomorrow. And so that's why it's important for us to continue to recruit. We got to continue to regenerate. We have to continue to build. While I'm grateful for those persons who would have served in excess of 3 decades, in some cases 4 decades, but the organization has to continue to recruit, and we have to continue to monitor the retention rate.
Commodore Dr. King is grateful to those officers and Marines that have served over the decades, but he says that it is important for the Royal Bahamas Defense Force to monitor the retention rate. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.